In a city that never stops moving, where 8 million people are chasing dreams they don't understand, two strangers made time freeze. The city that never pauses. The world doesn't wait for anyone. In the heart of New York City, millions run toward dreams they can't quite name, fighting battles they barely survive. Neon lights flicker, subways roar underground, crowds blur into motion. But in the middle of all that chaos, two souls found silence, and all it took was a wooden chessboard. Scene 1. The Antique Shop, Soho. Yellow cabs scream past, footsteps rush like a river. Julian stands still. A quiet art student with charcoal-stained fingers and a sketchbook full of forgotten beauty. He sketches an old hand-carved chessboard displayed behind dusty glass. Across the street, laughter cuts through the noise. Clara, a free-spirited writer with a vintage novel tucked under her arm and a laugh too alive for the gray city air. She walks past. Then she stops. Through the shop window, their eyes meet. For one suspended second, the city fades into a distant hum. Time forgets how to move. Scene 2. The Rainy Cafe, Greenwich Village. Julian buys the board. Rain taps softly against the cafe windows. Warm golden lights glow against the storm outside. He sets up the pieces slowly, lost in thought. The door opens. Clara steps in, shaking rain from her umbrella. She sees him instantly. The sketchbook boy. She walks over. Clara, smiling softly. Are you planning to play or just draw them all night? Julian looks up, surprised, then smiles. I'll play if you're brave enough to make the first move. She sits, moves her king's pawn. Outside, thunder rolls. Inside, the world narrows to 64 squares. Scene 3. The language without words. The cafe becomes their ritual. They don't talk much. They don't need to. When Julian moves his rook carefully, she sees his quiet strength and the fear he hides behind precision. When Clara sacrifices her queen in a bold attack, he sees her defiance, her refusal to let life cage her. Their fingers brush against carved wood. Their eyes lock. In one quiet moment, Clara gently places her hand over his and shifts a piece slightly. A better move. Electric silence. Scene 4. Check, but not mate. One night, Julian is losing. Exams, pressure, the city's weight pressing down. His hands tremble. Clara sees it. She could end the game. Instead, she reaches across the board and takes his hand. Clara, whispering, "It's just a game, Julian. In this room, you don't have to win. You just have to be here." He looks up. For the first time, he isn't staring at the board. He's staring at her. The chess pieces blur. The cafe disappears. The city fades away. And for the first time in New York, the world stands. The cafe is almost empty. Rain again. It always rains when something is about to change. Julian stares at the board. He sees it now. If he sacrifices his queen, he wins. But winning means ending the game, ending this moment. Clara watches him carefully. He moves the queen. Sacrifice. Clara's eyes widen. Clara, softly, "You always choose the beautiful loss." Julian smiles faintly. Not everything worth keeping is meant to be won. The air shifts. This isn't about chess anymore. Days pass. Julian gets accepted into an art residency in Paris. Clara gets offered a publishing deal in Chicago. Different cities, different dreams. same chessboard. They sit across from each other one last time. No rain tonight, just silence. Clara moves her king slowly. Maybe we were never meant to checkmate each other. Julian, maybe we were just meant to teach each other how to play. Their fingers touch while reaching for the final piece. Neither pulls away. Clara looks at the board. She has him. Checkmate. But she doesn't say it. Instead, Clara whispers, "Stay." Julian exhales. The world outside waits for their decision. The subway roars again. The city moves again. But for them, everything hangs on one word. They don't stay. They chase their dreams. Years later, in a quiet bookstore in Paris, Julian sees a new novel by Clara Bennett. Inside the cover is a dedication. For the boy who taught me that love isn't about winning. Julian smiles. Some games never truly end. Julian closes the chessboard. I don't want to win anymore. Clara smiles through tears. Good, because love was never about checkmate. It was about choosing the same square together. Still. Weeks later, Julian walks into the cafe. The board is already set, white pieces waiting. But Clara isn't there. Only a folded note under the queen. His hands shake as he opens it. Some games are meant to teach you how to let go. He looks around. The cafe feels colder, smaller, quieter. For the first time, the chessboard feels heavy. Flashback. Clara knew before him. Her publishing deal wasn't just in Chicago, it was permanent. She never wanted him to choose between love and his dream. So she made the hardest move. She left first. Not because she didn't love him, but because she did. Paris. An art gallery opening. Julian stands beside a large painting. It's a chessboard. Only two pieces remain, a king and a queen, facing each other. Across the room, a familiar laugh. He turns. Clara. Older, softer, stronger. They don't run. They don't speak immediately. They just look at each other, like that first moment in Soho. The world fades again. Clara, smiling gently. Your move. Julian steps closer. I've been waiting years to make it. One late night, the cafe is closing. Julian notices something strange. Every time they played, Clara always chose white. She always moved first. She always controlled the pace. He looks at the board carefully. Every game, every pattern. She wasn't just playing. She was teaching him something. How to sacrifice. How to let go. How to survive loss. Clara's smile is softer now. There's something in her eyes tonight. Clara. Do you know why I like chess? Julian shakes his head. Clara. Because sometimes the queen has to fall so the king can learn how to stand alone. Silence. Julian laughs nervously. Julian. That's dramatic. Clara doesn't laugh. The next week, she's gone. Phone disconnected. Apartment empty. No goodbye. Just the chessboard. And one missing piece. The queen. Julian searches everywhere. Nothing. Until months later, he receives a package. Inside, the queen piece and a letter. Julian, you once asked me why I always moved first. Because I already knew how our story would end. Some people enter your life to stay. Others enter to prepare you. You were always meant to grow beyond me. You just didn't know it yet. Win your life. Clara. Years later, Julian is successful, confident, strong. In his apartment, the chessboard sits by the window, the queen piece placed back where it belongs, but he never plays it, because some moves are only meant to be made once. She wasn't the love of his life. She was the lesson. Not every queen stays. Some just teach the king how to survive. The hardest move in chess is accepting the game is over. They didn't lose. They just finished the lesson. Months after Clara disappears, Julian can't stop thinking. Something feels wrong. Every move she ever made, every sacrifice, every loss, it wasn't random. It was structured, precise, intentional, like she was testing him, training him, preparing him for something. One night, Julian replays all their games from memory, move by move. He writes them down, and then he sees it. When combined, the moves create coordinates, subway stations, dates, times. Every game corresponded to a real-world location. She wasn't just playing chess, she was leaving messages. The last unfinished game points to one place, the antique shop in Soho, where they first locked eyes. Julian rushes there. The shop is closed, abandoned, but in the dusty window, there's another chessboard, exactly like theirs, only this time, the pieces are already arranged. Checkmate. White wins. A voice behind him. Clara. Calm. Collected. Different. Clara. You finally solved it. Julian stares. Julian. What is this? Clara steps closer. Clara. I just showed you how to think differently. Julian's heart pounds. Clara wasn't a coincidence. She had been observing him for months before that day. The sketchbook, the cafe, the rain. Planned. All of it. Clara whispers, "The world is chess, Julian. People are pieces. Most never realize they're being moved." Julian, "And what am I?" Clara smiles faintly. The only one who noticed. Julian sketches a carved chessboard. Clara passes by laughing, stops, and their eyes meet. For a heartbeat, the city disappears. Neon lights dim, subways fade. Time holds its breath. Sometimes, the right person walks past you while the world keeps running. Greenwich Village. Rain taps against glass. Julian sets the board. Clara enters, shakes her umbrella, smiles. "Are you going to play or just draw the pieces all night?" "I'll play if you make the first move." A storm rages outside. Inside, warmth. Their silent conversations happen through wood and ivory. Every move is a secret, every touch electric. Days pass. The board becomes their world. Julian sees her courage in bold attacks. Clara feels his fear in careful defenses. Sometimes a hand brushes another. Sometimes they share a look that freezes the city outside. But then, Julian notices patterns. Every game, every move wasn't random. It's as if she's guiding him somewhere, something bigger than love. Clara vanishes. No goodbye. Julian finds a note under the queen. Some games exist to teach, not to win. Months later, he discovers coordinates hidden in their past games. Every cafe, every stormy night, every street. The chessboard wasn't just a game. It was a map, a test, a puzzle. Julian reaches the final location, the antique shop. The board is set. Checkmate already in place. A voice behind him. Clara, you finally saw it. Julian, planned all along? Clara smiles. Yes. Every laugh, every rainstorm, every move. I chose you to awaken you. Love was just the first layer of the game. Years later,